In this video, I want to share with you a variety of tools that you might use to spark discussion and chat between your students as a presentation, a video, and audio format is taking place. By being able to actively discuss the content as it's happening, you can get feedback into what students are thinking at the current time, and then use that to either pause the lesson and discuss, or use it afterwards to further the lesson and find which roads you need to go down, which questions still need to be answered, things like that. So the first one that I want to introduce you to is called YoTeach, and this one takes the place of one that was commonly used called Today's Meet. So this is a very simple setup right here. I've gone in and just created the room and password protected it, and I can log in here to do some admin things, which I'll show you in a bit. So right here, as a student, I'm able to just enter in text and then send this to the chat, and it will go right here. I can also create a drawing and send that as well, and that appears right there. And then I can also upload images as well as needed. And then this last one, this is more for kind of using scripting and web design to send a message. So there's a variety of things right there. As I see my classmates entering different things in, I can reply to them, answer their questions, things like that. So we can have this conversation as things are going on. I might see someone that's has the same question that I do, and I want to also ask that and make sure that it gets noted. Well, as the teacher right here, some other things that I could do. So I can search for different things. I can get some statistics on here as to what's a good post, which ones weren't. I can get a word cloud as well from all of this to see which words were said the most. I could download this in a spreadsheet. I could do some things like I could vote right here, and now this would allow my students to be able to vote on some of the different comments that were made by using the thumbs up right here. For me as a teacher, I could pin a chat to the top, or I could star it as a good question, or I could mute that user as well. So there's a few different features right there. And then I can also go into poll mode, and so I could give them like, what should we do next, and learn more, or stop watching. And then I could send that out to students. They would be able to respond here, and I could kind of get some information from them. So that one is called YoTeach right there, and it gives you a lot of tools to take this data and save it for later. The next is just a simple Nearpod presentation, and this one I've added the collaboration feature, which allows students to share their thoughts. They can add images if they want. Basically, it becomes just a bunch of sticky notes that would come on here. You could have students put their names on it. If they like a comment, they can add the heart there so you can see which ones are worth going for. Another one is Jamboard. So you might have Jamboard shared with your students, and you could have them adding in different sticky notes. Like, let's do this one. Again, there's different colors that they could do. You could kind of maybe coordinate these so that yellow is a statement and green's a question, blue's a thought, different things like that. So we could have those on there. The nice thing about having a Jamboard is that when you're done, you could kind of categorize the different questions. You could, if you're on the app, you could do some things like putting check marks, like we want to continue exploring these questions, things like that. And this is also a Google Drive file, so it gets saved and you have access back to it, so you can always review what you did yesterday. Another one is Padlet, and you can set up a Backchannel chat on Padlet as well, where different students, they can log in, they can enter in their comments, things like that, and you'll kind of see a stream of student work right here of who's saying what. You could upvote things to see what's the what's the best. Students are able to add in links, web searches, some photos. They can pretty much do all of these things that are on here. They could draw, add a map, things like that. So there's also a great tool to use as a back-channel chat. Another one is called Socrative, and Socrative allows you to kind of create a room where you can do some different things. Like you could make quizzes and exit tickets and things like that. You could also just pose a quick question, and sometimes you might just want a short answer, like write your response to the video here, and we can allow unlimited. We could require student names, and we could start this. And then as students are doing this, I'll start seeing all their different responses right here, and I could allow them to vote on which ones we are the best or which ones we want to do, or I could share out some ones that I really enjoyed or I think like this is worth pursuing, and we could talk about it. Last one is just a Google Slides presentation right here. So I have a presentation. I'm using the presenter tools where they can ask a question. So on a student end, they would be right here. They would ask their question. They could ask it anonymously and then submit it. On the student end right here, they can upvote things. This is my view to where I can look at the different questions going on, and I could see, okay, what are people wanting to do? What are they wanting? They upvoting? And then if I want to, I could click present, and that will show on this slideshow, and then we'll be able to answer this question. So by allowing students to interact with the content as they're taking it in, we're doing higher levels of thinking. They're not just sitting there and taking it in, but they're interacting with each other, thinking about things, and you're getting insight into student learning as well.